I would challenge myself to play 24 hours of soca, non-stop, not repeating the song.
You guys hear what he said?
24 hours.
Okay, guys, so today's guest is a special guest. Today's guest is someone who I went to school with, and I was able to see him go from being a student to now having his own company, and also being one of the key directors, that's right, of Island Fest London. Today we have Chad.
What's going on, Vaughn?
Every single episode, the hardest part for me is always the introduction, because I'm trying to get to say everything and not miss something, and I'm pretty sure I did miss a couple things just now.
Yeah, and it don't matter.
Yeah,
like we'll get into it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think you hit the big ones.
Yeah. Could you take me back to the beginning where, like your first memory of something that made you realize that the cultures could connect with music?
Honestly, I think my first memory would have been when I met Dello to form Vibe Kings, because I was actually, when I first came to Canada, I went to Western and I joined the Caribbean Students Organization, and that is kind of like the point in time where I went through, well, I was interested in music from even before I left Barbados, but once I was in CSO, then it was just like I felt like the ability to do it like on a serious note started to come to fruition. And in that kind of like in that transition period, that's basically when I met Dello, and he being from African descent, it was just something when we met that it was like, it felt like it was meant to be.
Yeah.
So you know when you meet somebody and you're just like, yo, like I feel like I've known you forever.
Definitely.
Yeah, that was
also,
that was it.
So you wasn't always a DJ?
No, not when I left Barbados. I wasn't any form of a DJ.
Oh, so what did you come to school for?
Structural engineering.
Structural engineering?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then when you was in CSO and you started doing the parties and stuff, then you really started to get into it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would say before I left Barbados, I was doing what they call virtual DJ.
Yeah, everyone was doing that.
Yeah, everybody was. Yeah. So just like a fun thing. I wasn't even thinking of doing anything with it.
Yeah.
Until I actually got here.
I actually thought I was going to be a DJ at some point. That virtual DJ had me fooled.
Bro, virtual DJ?
I was like scratching it, putting the thing to the top to flip the sides, you know? I feel like that was the golden era of like DJing. Like DJing now is, I feel like it's not as complex as, well, for because I feel like so much young DJs could just start DJing if they know good tunes, whereas back in those days you had to be able to mix the tunes way better, you know?
Yeah. No, yeah. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Like nowadays you go to Jackson, it's like they just have like YouTube playlists on. Yeah. You know, back then like we would never even listen to a whole song.
And arguably still now in our culture, we don't do full songs. Mm-mm. Like that's something that I had to get used to when I was here. When I first got here, I went into like mainstream clubs.
Right.
I was like, man, like where
it was
playing the whole song?
So you coming here, do you think that impacted your decisions as well? Like seeing like the want for the culture, but there was nothing.
Yeah, no, that 100% impacted my decisions, and that's honestly the sole reason why Dello and I made Vibe Kings Entertainment. That was it. It was like we basically looked at it and we were like, look, like I'm like, man, you're from Kenya, you have Kenyan roots. I'm from Barbados. How much entertainment is here? So starting in London, how much diversity of entertainment is there from our various regions? At that time, it was like, yeah, which is still pretty much now. Like for Caribbean music, it was like temperature.
Yeah.
Turn Me On.
Yeah.
Tempted to Touch.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Roll It Gal, maybe.
Yeah, Roll It Gal. Yeah, that was the only. Roll It Gal was probably the only one that I would say that we used to listen to back home as well.
Right. Yeah, that was the only.
It was mostly me and Sheem. That's like, you know, it was weird. Like, and Sean Paul, you know, but Sean Paul is my dog, but Sean Paul wasn't like playing in the Caribbean like that, you know. It wasn't like let me go to the Sean Paul party. He had his moments though.
Yeah.
Like when he was on top, but after that wasn't like, you know, it was like Cartel and all these guys after. So I don't know. It's weird London now.
Yeah, it is weird.
But we still have a need for that. So, but that also goes into the whole Island Fest, like you seeing a need for something and trying to provide it. You know, so how did the Island Fest idea come along?
Actually, funny thing is, I was the one that was brought in. Like, I was brought in after the idea was formed.
Yeah.
The idea was actually thanks to Wendy Bagwandine, Arun, like the former owners of TNT Tobacco.
Mm-hmm.
They, from what they told me, they all were sitting down at the restaurant, just having a just general conversation about, look, like we need like some more like Caribbean vibes here in London, like, and it started off kind of as a joke, and then they were like, look, like we should actually do work towards doing a parade, but before we get there, like we gotta raise some funds, build it. So it was just like, oh, let's do like a Halloween. It was 2023? I think 2023. It was just like, oh, let's do like a Halloween fundraiser, like to start like raising funds for the festival. And that was just before then was when they connected with me. I was just like, look, like we need a DJ. So that's kind of like how I got pulled in. Yeah. And then I was just like, look, like this is a great idea. Like I like the concept of just start trying to do something for the culture, and let's see where we could take it. And yeah, that was Island Fest was born out of what was supposed to be a joke conversation, and then it was like, look, let's do something more. And then the following year, the first annual Island Fest happened. Now we're at year 3.
Yeah.
So
yeah, man. And this year you guys expand, right?
Yes. Yeah. Every year we expanded. So first year was 2 day. It was a 2-day festival. In 2023, last year was a 3-day. So we went Saturday, Sunday was the first year. Then Friday, Saturday, Sunday was last year. Then this year is still 3 days, but we expand into Talbot Street.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what year you came here?
2012.
Okay, so like a year after me.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally a year after me. So how bad you was missing home to do all these things, bro? Cause I mean, I was missing home, but it was more like, bro, I don't know if you, you must remember, like, we was doing parties back then too.
Yeah.
With like Jody and those guys, right? Mm-hmm. But it never really, I feel like everyone still had their, like, everyone still went their separate ways. Like, Jody moved back to Trinidad and then to America, Jason the same, and it was just me. But yeah, for you to like keep on it, it must mean that you had a strong calling in that field.
Yeah, like it just, I think I felt like that was my sole purpose. Well, not my sole purpose, but one of my biggest purposes being here was to just try to fill that Caribbean gap in some way, shape, or form. Whatever things I do, it was just like that was my route. So it was like whatever I'm doing, it kind of like led back to how can I bring Caribbean culture into what I'm doing, and that's always been the goal. And Delo's mission has always been bringing African culture. So it was just like when we pulled together Vibe Kings, it was like, how can we get your people and my people together in one place to just have a good time?
Yeah,
that was it.
And that's it. And that's the beauty of Soca, bro.
Yeah,
Soca is the life, bro. And like in Canada now, it's good to see that you guys doing things. Cause I know you're doing the Lux Carnival as well. Yeah. How did that come into play?
Actually, I was blessed because my best friend's now wife was part of Lux Carnival. Lux Carnival originally was always based in Toronto, but used to do Crop Over. They were a destination band for Crop Over from 2017. and my best friend's now wife has been part of Lux Carnival from like inception in Barbados. And when the pandemic hit, they were basically doing like virtual events, like a lot of other organizations, and they were like, "Oh, like we're looking for new DJs or whatever." And she referred me, and basically the rest is history. Like I did the virtual event with them, they liked the vibe, and yeah, like basically I started from then. They made me their resident DJ, and then after the pandemic, they were like, "Look, like we're here. Like, why are we going to Barbados all the time? Let's bring Barbados to Toronto Carnival." Caribbean at the time, and it became Toronto Carnival eventually. They were like, "Look, let's transition to here." So in 2022, we were a section, and basically we made history as the first band for Toronto Carnival to qualify to be a full band in 1 year. So they 2022, 2023, full band. 2024, we won the Small Band of the Year award. So that was the first time ever that they started doing that. So we became the first ever Small Band of the Year. And now for the first time ever, we are a small band being early up in the band order. So we were like number 5 on the road this year, which is it's been like historic. It's been historic,
yeah,
and growth, good growth that we can't complain.
Yeah, and you guys is a Bajan band.
Lux Carnival was the first Bajan owned band because the band leader is Bajan, but the first Bajan owned band since I don't know what year, but it's been a long time, and there hasn't been any Bajan owned bands. Like there are like a couple sections that are owned, like sections within like bands that are owned by Bajans, but Lux Carnival is the first Bajan owned band for years. I think definitely over 20 years kind of thing. It's been like a long time. So that was one of the reasons why we wanted to transition, because it was just like, look, like we feel like there's a need for representation once again, not only for Barbados too. It was like, we feel like there should be more representation of small islands in general, and that was kind of our thing. Is like we want to fill the gap of, look, like if you feel like underrepresented, yeah, wherever you come from, it doesn't have to be a Caribbean island. Like we're like the band for new people too. Like that's like if you had never played Carnival in your life, we're like, look, like we have an open door. We'll kind of make this kind of seamless transition from you being anyone to learning about Caribbean culture and playing mass. So that's kind of been our thing.
Yeah. You know, as you was talking there, and thinking about Caribbean and stuff, because I've been having this thing that's been bothering me lately, and imagine if the Caribbean used to get together for other things than Carnival, bro. It would have been crazy. Like I was thinking, lately I've been thinking a lot about West Indies, the cricket team.
Yeah.
And how much they accomplish. And I went to Google, and apparently West Indies is recognized as the best cricket team in history. Right? In terms of what they do in history, you know? And that's like the one time the Caribbean come together and do something. So imagine if the Caribbean was to come together and see itself as like basically like Americans, you know. It's almost like, oh, you from Barbados, from Barbados is like you from Philly, or right. I from Trinidad, I from New York, you know. It's like we from different places, but it's one people. It's one people. What's the highs and the lows of being a DJ?
So I think one of the lows first up is you're basically the first person to show up, last person to leave. So although, and I've seen this a lot of times too, and I never really thought about it until recently, as much as people feel like, yo, like being a DJ is kind of cool, it could be lonely in that sense. If you don't have a team or anything to set up and tear down with you, it's just like, yo, like you're first to show up, no one's there, you're doing your thing, you're setting up, last one to leave. Number two, I think a lot of people take it's hard to be taken seriously as a DJ in modern society because they're so accessible, like you mentioned. A lot of people screw it up for professional DJs. So as a professional DJ, you kind of have to go through this whole process of proving yourself to everyone to show them, look, like this is a business, it's not a joke thing. So is that hump that you got to cross that I could be a low. But on the high side of things, it's damn fun. It's as fun as everybody could think it could be. Like the actual act of DJing is fun. The behind the scenes might not be so much, but no one sees it. Nothing replaces seeing people having a great time with you being the one in control of the vibe. And that feeling is like irreplaceable, like beyond anything. And especially when you talk about playing for our people, playing for Caribbean people, playing soca, dancehall, reggae, greatest feeling ever. It's like those are the kind of events that I could show up. I don't need coffee. I don't need liquor. I don't need anything. I could DJ that whole event for 4, 5, 6 hours just off the energy in the room. And that is irreplaceable.
Do you think you know enough soca songs to play for 5 hours without playing the same track twice?
Bro, I could play soca for 24 hours. I would challenge myself to play 24 hours of soca. Non-stop, not repeating the song.
You guys hear what he said?
24 hours.
He's going to challenge himself to play soca for 24 hours.
24 hours.
Without repeating. Wait, but that's not with playing whole songs.
No, not whole songs. Not whole songs.
Okay.
No, but any era.
Well, light up the Twitch. Light up the Twitch. Or you hear what he say? He say he going to play soca for 24 hours without playing the same song twice and without playing the full of any song.
I could, I would trust that I could do it.
What's the date? What's the date?
I don't got a date now, but we can make it happen.
Okay.
We can make it happen.
I never say that, which camera watching me? Jalisa, as you old man say that, girl. Don't come and tell me I had a man staying up whole night playing tracks. He say that.
For the people.
And that being said, for everybody else watching, Jalisa is his wife, and Jalisa is actually someone who is like Jalisa and I we were really close. I mean, like when I say we were really close, it's not like we fall out.
Any issues, yeah.
You know, like we were like everybody. I get kids and stuff, right? But we had some of the best summers when I was in school. You know, like times that we could never, that I would never trade. You know, like my first summer, but my second summer here, meeting. It was a bunch of us who was just Trini and like different Caribbean islands, Bahamas, and we had this little clique going that we had the most fun that I ever had in Canada before having my kids and stuff, you know, and yeah. So and the good part for it, in 2020, you got to marry Jalisa, you know. And when I say I didn't try to marry Jalisa. So don't come and say it wasn't like that. I mean, anyway, back to the conversation. So in 2020, you got to you married Jalisa, right? And how has your life changed since becoming a husband?
Actually, this is a pretty common question. But it hasn't. My life has not changed. It's just a ring, making it official, some paperwork. But in terms of life day to day, like I would say everything is the exact same, and the only changes have been like growth, like individually for us, like buying a house, like those kind of things that are like milestones in life. But our relationship and our individual relationships and life and everything hasn't been like any changes, like drastic changes of any kind.
I feel you. So how do you challenge yourself as a husband? Like like your thoughts, you know, like how do you challenge yourself as a husband? If you understand that question. I can tell you how I challenge myself.
Okay, all right.
So that you can get the example.
Yeah.
So how I challenge myself is that I challenge myself to be the best version of me. I challenge myself. I've been challenging myself a lot lately to get closer to God so I could love my wife the way he loved the church, you know? Mm-hmm. I've been challenging myself to, even when I'm upset at her, that I will still make her lunch, you know, and I'll say, I promise God I'm gonna take care of you, so I'm gonna take care of you. You know, so I challenge myself to create this environment that breeds fruit.
Right.
You know, and it could be different for me than you because I have kids. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe because you guys do have kids, it not as deep, but I don't know. That's why I'm asking, you know. I don't know. I always ask people what couples with no kids do for fun. You know, because it's something that I don't know. I had kids since the day I was married, you know?
Okay. No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
No. So no, I get where you're coming from. But no, I in that sense I challenge myself to be a better provider. And to be a better provider, I think one of the things that is necessary is being able to build myself as a man, and not only physically but spiritually. So really, like delving into my relationship with God, that's critical for me in that sense. Number two, providing in the sense of, yes, financially is one thing, but it's
leadership.
That is the leadership, and not leadership with not dictatorship.
No.
So leadership, not dictatorship.
Yeah.
And being able to earn that leadership, not expecting it, not thinking that it's something that you, just because I'm the man, that is automatically given to me. So it's like doing everything that I need to do on a daily basis to earn being the leader of the household, mm-hmm. being the provider, and making sure that my wife she's good. She needs to be treated like a queen. Mm-hmm. She needs to have everything that I could provide her with. I should be able to provide her with, and if I can't do it, I gotta figure it out in some way, shape, or form. So that's the kind of mindset that I have in terms of challenging myself, and it drives into business as well. It's like I gotta do business to a certain level because I'm representing us as in my household. So there's certain standards that I gotta uphold myself to, and those are some of the things that I challenge myself to as a man.
Yeah, no, that's a good answer, and I really like the answer because you talk about leadership and not dictatorship, you know, and it's so important that people know the difference because leadership is far from dictatorship, you know. Leadership is 100% service. It's you, and you describe that, is you trying to see how I could provide for her. The only way you could provide for somebody is if you serve that person. Exactly. You know, if you're not serving that person, you can't provide for them, they provide for you because they serve you. But as a leader, you serve them, and when you serve is when they see like this person could be trusted. Let me go where he goes. Let me go and I could see it in her in terms of the business that she wanted to do and the way she thinks, and that's really commendable, and it's really good to hear you say it because I know there's a huge struggle for men in your field, especially because in your field there's a lot of alcohol and women, you know.
Yeah.
So is there like how do you provide a safe space so that she could, and if you don't answer this question, we could cut it out of the video.
Yeah,
right?
no problem,
Like how you provide a safe space for her to be like, oh, I know that he gonna DJ this event and he not gonna try anything?
Oh, that's a great question. And I think is actually worth me answering this because I feel like a lot of DJs get this as well. And I think for myself is she knows how I carry myself. Whether she's there or not, she knows how I show up for business. It's like, regardless of if there's alcohol and women, she knows that I'm going to do work. And my focus is always on DJing. Like, at the end of the day, and she understands the level of respect that I have for her, that she trusts me. She's comfortable enough. She knows. She has no issues with me going anywhere, regardless of if she's there or not, because, again, that is the importance of being a man and being a leader. Is I think we've developed that level of confidence and trust between each other that there's no need for her to be there or to monitor or to send somebody or whatever, because I've earned it in the sense of the times when she's not there, she knows that I've earned it.
Yeah. And that's really good. And what I really want to dive into is, because I feel like there's a part of it that you probably don't even see yourself. Mm-hmm. But I shouldn't say it's they don't see. I should say that you don't notice because it's natural to you. But there is something that you do that makes her comfortable. There's something that you do in your marriage, right? That she knows that, oh, he wouldn't do that. You know? And if he does do it, he had to be out of his mind, and I was fooled. But, which could happen to anybody, you know?
Which could happen to anybody,
but
yeah.
In your case, it's more like there's something that you do that you probably don't even realize, but she might know that makes her that secure.
Right.
You know, because it could be somebody else and she wants to be as secure, because like we know the rap that DJs have, bro. You know, and rightfully so. Rightfully so, to be honest. And it's the same with anybody, athletes, anybody that in the public eye with a lot of, and then DJs usually, as you say, you control everybody's emotions. You know? So people love that. You like everybody looking up to you in the DJ booth, and it could really lead you astray. You know? So to have your head on, you have to be so strong-minded. You know?
And it's not easy for sure, especially for the club events.
Yeah.
For them kind of events. When you're doing weddings and corporate events and that kind of stuff, it's much easier. But then when you're in the club, those sort of environments where it's nightlife, straight up nightlife, party events, then it becomes a different level of temptation out there. And I think one of the driving factors too for me, and even like Dello, like Vibe Kings at the company, like driving factor is like professionalism is one of our like key pillars at the company. So it's like we kind of carry that chip on our shoulder, but in order to carry that chip, like part of being professional is making sure like, look, like you can't be chatting up gal and doing that kind of things when you in at work. I mean, you could say that if you're not DJing at the time, you're not working, but I think all of it adds up to the level of professionalism that you have and how people look at you.
Definitely. And it's actually one, like when I was opening my barbershop, it's one thing that I really wanted to press was when people come into the shop, they come for one. They come, even if there's a lady that is flirty, right? They come for a haircut. We don't put ourselves in positions to do dumb stuff, you know, and it's something that you have to be really mindful of until you're not really mindful of it. Like I had to be mindful of it when I was a young business owner, you know, and now to the point where people could come in and you don't even think about it, right? But it's something that because I seen how other barbershops would, a lady comes in with a cut to cut her son, and you're like trying to chat her, but you can see she's uncomfortable. It's not to make that space, right? So, yeah, I understand. So,
and you're right. You actually made a good point about not putting yourself in situations.
yeah.
Because I mean, part of temptation is just not being in the situations.
Yeah.
You see the danger, and you just keep yourself away. Some people walk straight into it.
No, bro.
They know.
Some people just want to walk into it, bro. You know, some people just walk into the storm hoping that they thinking that they have shelter, bro. But you can see it's a storm, you know, and then you get caught in the storm. Then you realize that some things, bro, you just be like, not today, Satan. And then you walk away, you know?
Walk away, man.
And that's the next thing is that it comes on to men being strong enough to know how weak they are. You know?
That's facts.
Yes, you have to be you have to be strong enough to know how weak you are. And as a man and as a human, but I can talk for man, I can't talk for all humans.
Yeah.
As a man, you have to understand that you could think that you Samson, you know, but put yourself in a situation and see how quick they cut off your hair. You know, you really have to see, okay, this, I know I'm feeling like I can control the situation, but I maybe can't. You know, just let me go home.
Yeah.
Let's go home. That way, if I home, there's no issues. I'm home. You know, and there's a lot of you understanding that the devil been on the prowl for way longer than we was even taught, way before we was even taught of being something, you know? So he knows how to throw different things at you, situations that you wouldn't even realize going and happening, and they're like, holy shit, how did this happen? You wake up the next morning and you're like, wow. You know, I really get into that fight. And it's not just about hooking up with people. Yeah. You know, it could be something like you go and talk to somebody, then there's a fight, but there's so much things that's why I stopped going out. The last time I went out to the clubs, we got into this huge fight, you know? And then everyone was like, oh, Vaughn, why you stopped going out? You scared to go out? I was never scared. I just understood that I had kids. You know, I have people that waiting for me to come home. I can't be in the club fighting, bro. You know, is no. So I just cut it off.
Yeah.
You know, and thank God that I was able to not regret cutting it off. So it has a lot to do with him and who he allowed me to become. But actually, it's about me, bro. Mm-hmm. Actually, it's about, we would fight all the time. Not me and Jalisa, dog. Yeah. But yeah, you know, like we always been in club fighting. So yeah. All right. I ain't trying to keep you on the deep conversations too much, but
nah, man, no, it's important, especially for us as black men.
Yeah,
like we know how difficult it is.
Yeah,
like how many. There's not enough examples of great or good black fathers.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's like I'm not there yet, but this is part of my journey to get there.
Yeah.
And you are there. And we have a purpose. Yeah. We have a purpose to be those examples.
And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of thinking. You know, it's a lot of thinking of how this could affect everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, how this could affect everybody. And you see certain things happening in this world and you're like, wow. You know, so do you want to have kids?
Yeah. Oh, yeah? 100%.
You guys want to have kids?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you guys getting older.
I know.
We're going to be like Father Abraham.
No, it's coming up to that time. That's for sure.
I mean, but you guys busy, bro. So
sure.
Especially with all the stuff that you guys have going on, it's a lot of work. And okay, so what's the goal? What's the goals for yourself?
For myself, I think there's a lot of different layers to it, but I guess, is it for Island Fest? Is it for like in general?
In general.
Just general. I feel like for me in general, I guess there's two sides of things. So on a personal side of things is I want to continue to grow into an example of an amazing black father, black man, black father. That's on the personal side of things and doing everything that I need to do to get there. On the music side of things, I feel like there's so many ways I could grow, but I think it is really dependent on relationships. So I want to continue to form critical relationships, meeting people in the industry, and just find myself in spaces. And this is like a big thing for me, is to just find myself in spaces where people, where Caribbean music and people of Caribbean descent haven't been. But one of my core things too as a DJ is I'm not a soca DJ. I'm not. I'm a Caribbean. I'm from Caribbean descent, but I'm a DJ, and I taking this from these words from a friend of mine. But I'm a DJ that plays soca, that plays dancehall, that plays Afro beats. And one of the biggest things I've always pride myself on is being a DJ that could technically play anything. But my goal is to play anything so it could get into any space. And then I could play Caribbean music, introduce people to Caribbean music. And so that's always been my goal.
Yeah.
Like, let people know I could play whatever you want.
But you want to play soca.
But let me, not necessarily I want to play soca, but let me introduce you to Caribbean music. And it could be soca, it could be dancehall, it could be a Caribbean artist that sings pop. But for me, I just want to introduce you to Caribbean talent, so that I could allow you to know, look, like, this is out there if you don't know. Yeah. These are like the places that I represent.
More like educate people. And that being said, you say 24 was a soca. Don't come and say he's a DJ and he's a versatile DJ and he can play wherever. You're playing, oh, what a night. I don't want to hear that, bro.
I wouldn't do that.
24 was a soca, dog. Not even reggae or dancehall. He says soca. So we're going to see that. We're going to make history and go down and Guinness World Book of Records.
Yo, what if that's a record?
Yeah, it had a record. I wonder if somebody do that before. I don't think nobody ever do that before.
The man play pan for, how long the man play pan?
48 hours or something so. And you know, I don't understand about the man who play pan. Is that I don't even think somebody play pan for 24 hours. I don't think people play pan for 10 hours, dog.
And the man just went.
he wanted to make one that nobody could break. But bro, props to him, bro. That hard. I can't even stay up for 48 hours. For you to play pan for 48 hours, how he pee and he didn't shut?
I don't even know. He had to do everything there. Whatever he did, he had to do there because he didn't leave.
He could go in the bathroom, still play in the pan. And
pan on the toilet.
But how he got to wipe? How he got to wipe? Someone had to wipe him. He bedrin.
He probably took some kind of thing to stop him from using the bathroom.
Had to be, bro. Because how? Ain't no way, bro. All up his and shit, man. He probably had on Pampers. He probably smelling real stink then if you... Hey, proud of the man, dog. I just joking, boy. Don't even come and say, everyone coming for him, you know? I ain't one coming for nobody. So, what's next for you?
Everything that I'm a part of, I just want to see level up.
Yeah.
Everything. So, Vibe Kings as a company, we have goals set. We wanna level up. This is our 10th anniversary year. We want to continue to grow. That's one of the biggest things for us as a group. Like Delo and I think we've not done it all. That's not the word. There's so much to do. But we want to expand our knowledge to other DJs, other people that are interested in DJing, and that's what we've been doing for the last bit. So growth is like one of the biggest things for the company. For Island Fest. Again, I want Island Fest to continue to bring better Caribbean entertainment to London, so people could get to see. It's a free festival at the end of the day, but I want that to be an opportunity for us to let people be introduced to as much Caribbean talent and be educated about the Caribbean, because that's also a big, really important thing about Island Fest is the educational component.
Yeah,
because everybody's like, oh, pina coladas and palm trees and, you know, the quote unquote vacation aspect of the Caribbean. We want to give people like the whole story, like and a holistic.
You guys should have like
experience.
a history tent. That'd be cool. Let's have like a history tent because there's so much cool facts about the Caribbean and the West Indies and whole, like even the word, even the label West Indies, like where does that come from?
Does that? Yeah.
And Windward and the Little Islands and all the different volcanoes and hurricanes. Like so much people, when I tell them that Trinidad never, like we got hit with a hurricane like once maybe, and because hurricanes go up the map. And they're like, oh, for real? Yeah, it goes up. You know, Trinidad and Barbados is more south.
Yeah.
You know, and especially Trinidad is more South American terrain.
Right.
You know, so we have like different animals than... 'cause I think you guys have monkeys, and then like Jamaica doesn't have monkeys, I think. I can't remember.
Not sure.
You know? And like we have like...
You guys have some necks.
Yeah, we have like a lot of stuff like that. You know, like monkeys, ocelots. You know, that's like a jaguar.
You guys got vultures.
Yeah, we have everything. You guys have vultures?
We don't have vultures.
Like Kobo?
Yeah.
You guys don't have Kobo?
Wait, what do you call Kobo?
The big vultures, bro.
Yeah, nah, we don't have them. Unless, like, they'll have to be... Nah, we don't have them. We don't have vultures.
But then you guys have green monkey. What you guys call the monkey?
We got green monkeys.
But we have howler monkeys.
Nah, we don't have the haulers. I remember you tell me about the haulers.
Yeah, we have howler monkeys. Then we have like ocelots. That's like the little a dwarf leopard or dwarf jaguar is like a jaguar.
Bro, you see, we don't got them kind of things.
Yeah, no, we have a lot of, and then Trinidad is very volcanoes.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of the Pitch Lake. There's so much things in the Caribbean on the whole too, like Jamaica and like all these islands have so much history and culture that would be good so people could see.
And honestly, actually, on that side of things, it's funny because Lux Carnival's Toronto Carnival theme this year is called 7 Wonders of the Caribbean. And essentially, that's the whole idea is we not this to other like mass bands and stuff. A lot of them paint like these fantasy themes that are like, so there's some fantasy experience. But our focus is showing people that the Caribbean is a fantasy. Yeah. So basically we're picking a wonder from 7 different islands. And we're basically transforming that wonder into a costume, using a costume to depict that wonder. So when you mention Pitch Lake is basically our Trinidad wonder. And we have a costume that essentially depicts the Pitch Lake.
Is it black?
It's black, yeah. It's a black costume. The backpack has like a swirl design. Yeah, it's actually pretty sick. But yeah, Jamaica is the Luminous Lagoon. Barbados is Harrison Cave. St. Lucia is the drive-in volcano in St. Lucia.
They have a drive-in volcano?
Yeah, they have a drive-in volcano.
I went to St. Lucia one time. We had some fun. I didn't like the food though.
You didn't like the food?
They come from me. I was sitting in a hotel. I didn't even go downtown, dog. I didn't go downtown. I was sitting in a hotel. I was sitting in a hotel called the Auberge. They come from me again. But I didn't like the food, dog. You know? But yeah, St. Lucia itself was fun.
I heard it's beautiful.
Yeah, it was nice. Beautiful. It was nice. They had the pitons. Yeah, and they have 2 airports, which was weird to me because they
have 2 airports?
Yeah, they have 2 airports, bro.
That's impressive.
Yeah, because Trinidad only have 1.
We only have 4 bars.
So we game up, dog. Why are there 2 airports, dog? Well, they're chopping and cook. I was in the way so much people going to St. Lucia. I love St. Lucia. Well, higher people going, but 2 airports, come now, man.
2 airports. And I think St. Lucia is smaller than Barbados.
Yeah, I think they're small.
Barbados is small already.
But St. Lucia is, from when I went, it had plenty mountains and stuff. So I could be wrong. I don't know. It had plenty mountains.
In St. Lucia, yeah.
Yeah.
Barbados flat.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I hear, but I don't know. So I hear about Barbados. It's
Barbados
flat,
flat, bro. Flat. Yeah. Our highest peak is 300 and something feet. 380 feet, I think. You can just go and jog up.
That's a mango tree in Trinidad, dog. That's a mango tree. That's a mango tree in Trinidad. But yeah, bro. So I think we good. And that being said, now that we had this full conversation, I will now do the intro. Okay, guys, today we have a very good guest, and I just had coffee too, so you know my blood pumping. So today we had a very good guest, but today we had somebody who I get to see grow from being in college with us and having awesome summers to having his own businesses, and now one of the leading directors in Island Fest, London, Ontario. He's also one of the leading directors in Lux Carnival, which this year they are celebrating the 7 Wonders of the Caribbean. So you guys should check them out. He's a devoted husband, devoted businessman, and a devoted human with a goal of trying to educate on Caribbean culture through music. Today we had DJ Wickham of Vibes Kings.
Yeah, they're right. Vibe Kings.
Okay, of Vibe Kings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now is the time where you could say something about yourself and where people could get you, and then we could be out.
No, man, pleasure to be here. If you want to find out more about me, follow me on all handles. Is at DJ Wickham Music. And my company Vibe Kings is at Vibe Kings, which is VYBEKINGZ. Any platforms.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Thanks for coming again, Chad. And
my pleasure.
I know that we could talk some more after Island Fest and see how that went.
Yeah.
Live on an Island Fest, just so that people could see what is really happening in Island Fest and really
Bro, that'd be perfect.
Because you guys have something good going on, and it's good to see that you are part of it. You know.
Appreciate that.
So yeah, bro, thanks a lot, and yeah, we link.
Blessings. Nah, bro, that was nice. That was nice. By the camera, the microphone.